All right, let's get this rocking and rolling because I know some of you are ready. I have a PowerPoint on here, so just make sure that you have a actual pen and paper handy so that we can take some notes. And then at the end, I have the PowerPoints as well. So if you would like the PowerPoint at the end, I can shoot you an email with the whole PowerPoint slides. So that way it'll kind of help give you a visual in that aspect as well too. So let me just briefly introduce myself. My name is Lindsay Mattingly. I live out here in Charleston, South Carolina. I married my high school sweetheart. We have two beautiful girls, ages 3 and 5. The other one just turned 5 not too long ago. And I am a certified personal trainer, a nutritional counselor. I have been in the health and wellness industry for about 9 years now. I have a background in working with athletes, a very strong background in working with athletes. I work with individuals with weight loss. I've worked in injury prevention, helping others who have injury. I've worked with children. I have worked with anybody in all aspects from just beginner to an elite athlete. So I have a lot of experience and a lot more has gained as time has gone on. So anyways, try reducing the volume. Okay, it's a little loud. All right, I just talk loud, so I'll just talk a little bit quieter. But so that's just a little bit of background about me. I do hold boot camps. I do one-on-one training. I actually had just launched my new online program, which I'm going to announce a little bit later on in the slides as well too. And so I'm very excited to get this going. I wanted to do this nutritional webinar to kind of, or health and wellness webinar to kind of help educate you, because I've had so many people reach out to me and asking me a ton of questions because I recently started competing. I am a figure competitor and a bikini competitor in bodybuilding, and I will be going pro in bodybuilding. So anyway, so I'm really excited about that. People have been following my journey. People have been asking a ton of questions. People have been asking questions about my fitness programs as well too, and so because everybody's pretty curious as to, hey, how do I go grocery shopping? How do I read the labels? How much fruits and vegetables do I need to eat? I've had a lot of questions just kind of thrown at me, so that's why I'm throwing this nutritional and health and wellness webinar to kind of help educate you on the basics of nutrition and what type of activity do you need to do daily or weekly to kind of help optimize your health. So I love this quote, and I mention this quote a lot to a lot of people. So no citizen has a right to be an amateur in a matter of physical training. What a disgrace it is for a man to grow old without even seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable of. Our body is like a temple, and it's time for us to treat it like a temple, because these days, especially with individuals who I've met up with and worked with as well too, we're so used to the old way. We're so used to the old way, and so there are new ways right now, but actually the new way has always been something that individuals have done way back in the day: eating your fruits and vegetables, exercising, picking up the dumbbell, going out and doing stuff. People are busy these days. They're very, very busy. We work 50, 60 hours. So, we kind of forget about ourselves. So now it's time to recognize that and get in tune with our own health, because sometimes we do got to be selfish every once in a while. We got to take care of our bodies. So what I'm going to talk about is stress. So stress plays a huge role in our bodies. A definition of stress is a state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or demanding circumstances. So everyone's workloads are already stressful enough, and so it kind of depends on your daily activity, your days and stuff like that. And that just keeps adding in more stress. Oh my gosh, the kids, we got to take them to soccer games. We got to take them to vacation Bible school. They're heavily involved. Your husband works full time, so it's hard to keep up with these things. And then the stress it just keeps on building up, and it can pay a toll on our bodies. So, couple facts. What happens when we're under stress? There's good stress. The good stress is more of like your adrenaline pumping, and so when you're at like let's say you're at a concert and it's this person who you've wanted to see all the time. My gosh, I think the last concert I went to was 98 Degrees, if you guys remember that one. But I was so excited to see these guys, and my heart was racing. It was pumping. I was so excited. That is a good stress. It pumps good endorphins through our bodies. But there's also bad stress as well, too. So what happens with bad stress, the heart rate starts to go up, blood vessels start to dilate, and with a decrease in metabolism, the extra glucose surges into the bloodstream to give that extra fuel. So what happens is that it can produce cortisol, especially in women, which is like that tummy packer. The adrenaline starts to pump, blood vessels start to dilate, breathing increases, muscles become tense, and the sex hormone production starts to go down. So that's what happens when bad stress flares up in our body. So how can stress be managed? There's different ways, and I'm going to give you 9 different tips to help you minimize those stressful jitters. And one of them is turn off your phone. Turn off your phone. Turn off your phone. I've had to tell my husband this many times. I've had to tell even some people that I train to turn off their phone. When you train with me, turn off your phone, put it on the other side of the room. Turn off your phone. Should I repeat it again? But anyways, when you go to bed, turn off that phone. Put it on the opposite side of the room, okay? Don't worry about it. We are too busy. We're thinking about checking our Facebook. We're thinking about checking our email. We're thinking about checking our text messages. What did we miss out on? This elevates stress. So just turn it off. Tune it out. Make your free time count. Any free time. My gosh, when I have free time away from my kids, like I don't have my kids right now, and I'm educating you about health and wellness and how to de-stress. But this is my stress reliever. But de-stressing, take advantage of that free time. Go for a walk if you got 15 minutes. Just sit outside on the porch. Listen to Mother Nature. Make your free time count. Step away from the screen. So if you work at a job where you're at your computer a lot, it's okay to step away for at least 5 minutes. Just go around, take a walk. I used to be a receptionist at a place called Parisi Speed School, and I was at the desk all the time answering phones, blah, 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 blah. I was very, very busy. But what really helped me, and I was also pregnant at the time with my first child, I just would get up and just kind of walk around, and I even wore bands around my legs, walking around with those exercise bands around my legs, and that kind of helped me de-stress and not even think about all the stress factors that were happening at work. And just remember what really matters, okay? So, and just think about the simple things in life, be grateful for those things. Listen to your body. Listen to your body. If you're super duper tired, sit down and take a little nap. If you feel like you have to go exercise, then go exercise. So listen to your body. Pre-plan, have a regular schedule. I have a paper schedule that works very well so I can manage my time, as I manage 2 businesses. I have 2 children, and I have a farm and a husband that works full-time. So I got a lot of things that are on my plate, but the only way to manage it is I actually use a paper calendar, manage my time. It has time slots in there as well. So pre-plan, have a regular schedule. It'll really help. Exercise and meditate. Meditation works so well. Meditation doesn't have to be where you're sitting down humming. Meditation can be just lying down on the ground. I like to call it the grounding technique, where you just lie down a mat. You could be outside or in your house and just feel the ground and just meditate and just soak it all in. You know, that can be, there's all different types of forms of meditation. So those are just a few ways that you can de-stress. So I've had now a couple questions I'm going to go over. I've had a lot of people ask me. We're going to start going into nutrition now, into food. I've had a lot of people ask me, so Lindsay, how much is too much? Like, how much do I really need to eat? How much is a thing of peanut butter? How much fish do I need to eat? Well, I like to give visuals, and I like to use the hand. The hand is a visual. So in the palm of your hand, this is about 3 to 4 ounces of meat, fish, or poultry. So the palm of your hand that just goes around right here, that's about 3 to 4 ounces of your protein, okay? Now, looking at peanut butter, almond butter, nut butter, there's all different types of butters. The thumbnail, okay, the thumbnail is about a teaspoon, and then your whole thumb is about a tablespoon. Okay, so I mean, depending on the size of your thumb, some of us have really big thumbs, but so your thumb, you could do it's about 1 to 2 tablespoons, and a thumbnail is about a teaspoon. So the teaspoon, when you're looking at a teaspoon, is your oils, your butters, typically those type of things, your mayonnaise. So you can measure out just about the tip of your thumb up here. Now for your nut butters, it's about your whole thumb. That's about 1 to 2 tablespoons. So that will kind of give you a visual right there. So looking at a fist, 1 cup. 1 cup, this is about fruit, okay? So you're looking at fresh fruit, your vegetables, and stuff like that. So that's just in 1 cup, or you can just make like a little cup, like about this. So it could be about a fist, or just about this. I mean, depending on the size of your hand, because this could be a half cup as well too. So what's a half cup? So let's look into your grains. Your grains should fill about the middle of your hand, right about here. So that's about a serving size for that. Now, when you're looking at, you know, like your potato chips and crackers and stuff like that, because normally it says there's 2 cups or an ounce. So when you're measuring, it's about two little cupfuls right here, but hopefully you're not eating those. So that'll give you a visual of how much protein and fruit to eat. So again, right here, this is about 3 to 4 ounces of meat, okay, like your fish, chicken, and poultry. A teaspoon of your oils is the tip of your thumb. Your whole thumb, that is about 1 to 2 tablespoons of like your nut butters. A fist right here, that's about your fresh fruit or vegetables. Half cup, which is about the middle of your hand right here, just a little scoop right here. Those are more of your grains. Okay, so that'll kind of help give you a little bit of overall visual of the serving sizes that you need to take in. So another question that I had, you know, is how much fruits and vegetables do I really need to eat a day? And for those of you who know me, I really love my fruits and vegetables. You can juice them, throw them in smoothies. You know, you really need about 2.5 cups of fruits and vegetables each day. Okay, so, but do the average American take that in? No, not at all, they don't. Actually, only about 32.8%. I actually pull up these statistics from bestlife.com. 32.8 Americans are actually eating at least 2 fruit servings daily. And about 27% of Americans are eating at least 3 vegetables of servings a day. And only 14% of Americans are only eating both 2 fruits and 3 vegetables a day. I guess I'm one of those oddballs, which is the lower percentage. So anyways, that kind of gives you an idea of what we're really eating, and we're not actually eating enough because we're eating more of the processed foods. So you need 2 cups of fruit a day and about 2.5 cups of vegetables a day to kind of take in your daily intake. So, so that's about for that question. Now, another question that I've had people ask me is, so how much protein do I really need to take in? Now, protein, it can go a lot of ways. It depends on your sources of protein. I feel that today, typically, Americans eat way too much protein, especially animal proteins. So kind of when I educate my clients and I work with individuals, I educate them about plant-based protein, and we really don't need all those animal-based proteins because we're actually doing more harm than good. And oh my gosh, when I lived in Oklahoma City, they had meat and potatoes for every single meal. So for those of you who know me, moving from Maine, where I got fresh fruit and vegetables and wild-caught fish, and moving into Oklahoma City where they have 500 chain restaurants, I was like, wow, this is crazy. So they ate a lot of protein, but they were also named the fattest city in the nation. I think it was in 2010. So that kind of explains what's going on. So I was very glad I was there on a mission to educate people how to eat healthy. So how much protein do you really need to take in? You know, so it kind of depends on the person and your activity and what your goals are. You know, so typically for women, it could be anywhere between 45 to 55 grams of protein per day. Men, it's higher. It's usually 65 to 75 grams of protein a day. But if you're a bodybuilder like myself or an elite athlete, you're going to need some more protein. So just to kind of give you an idea about if you weigh 120 pounds and you work out a lot, you would need at least 120 grams of protein, and that's about a gram of protein you know, per body weight. So if you're not working out, let's look at you're probably looking at about 0.3 grams of protein per body weight. Okay, so but if you are working out about at least 3 days a week, you're probably looking at least half a gram of protein per body weight. So another example is if you're 200 pounds and you're not working out at all, you would typically need at least 68 grams of protein. Now, as a bodybuilder, like for myself, I weigh almost 140 pounds. I need almost 200 grams of protein. So I take in a lot of that, but I need that to fuel my muscles because I'm building. So it really all depends on the individual, and it all depends on your sources of protein. So make sure that when you get your protein, that your meats are, one, for fish, it's wild caught, and for your red meats or anything like that, make sure that it's grass-fed, organic. So and buy from the farmers. You know, go support your farmers, and trust me, it's going to be the best meat that you will ever have. So on to the next. So how much grains should you really have? You know, I kind of gave you need about a half cup of grains. So what are grains? Grains are your breads, your pastas, and your rice. So, but I like to tell everybody you want to aim for more sprouted grains. So when you're going for your breads, or if you're going for your pastas, look for rice pasta. Look for pastas made from quinoa. For your breads, Ezekiel bread is great. Walmart actually has its own brand of bread as well too. It's made from sprouted grains. Sprouted grains actually have 4 times the amount of niacin. They're nearly twice the amount of vitamin B6 and folate, and they're 5 times the amount of vitamin C, and they actually have more protein, and there's fewer in starches and sugars in there. So when looking at grains, we're thinking of fiber, okay? So because we do need to have a good intake of fiber, but you can get your fiber from your fruits and vegetables as well too. So when looking at fiber, men need at least 30 to 35 grams. Women should at least intake at least 25 grams of fiber. So now what's the difference between sprouted grains and enriched or bleach? Okay, so the sprouted grains, the grain is whole. So when you have the Ezekiel bread, you notice how harder it is. Now go buy a loaf of Nature's Own bread, which is pretty typical. It's enriched, bleached, whatever it is. You know, you're going to notice that it's really soft bread because they stripped the grain of all of those natural resources, and then they just pump it with a ton of vitamins and minerals. So that's why it makes it soft, and the bread lasts a lot longer. However, if you have Ezekiel bread and you leave it out on the counter, probably after 4 days it may get some mold because it doesn't have any preservatives in it. It's real sprouted grain bread. So that's what the difference are between the grains. So I want to talk about sugar. Okay, sugar, I'm going to briefly go through this, you know, just due to time, briefly go through this and then talk a little bit about activity. So looking into sugar, this is that hidden thing that I was talking about and I wanted to share with you because we actually eat a lot more sugar than we think. So what is sugar? Sugar is a carbohydrate that occurs naturally in every fruit and vegetable. It's a major product of photosynthesis, which is a process by which plants transform the sun's energy into food. And the sugar occurs in greatest quantities in sugar cane, sugar beets, which normally when it's derived from the sugar beets, it's processed. So what's the purpose of sugar? It's for energy, taste, and pretty much that's about it. So another couple things. So what's the differences of sugar? We got brown sugar, we have fructose, we have agave, we have honey, stevia, which is going to be your most natural sugar. I actually make my own stevia extract. Don't worry, I will be posting that on my blog of how to make your own stevia extract. There's high fructose corn syrup. There's corn syrup, which those are derived and highly processed. There's raw sugar, maltodextrin, aspartame, and sucralose, which aspartame is found in a lot of Cokes, Diet Cokes, and stuff like that, though, too. And your brain, which I'm going to talk about, it tweaks with the brain because it thinks that it's sugar times 20. So just a couple more facts. Is sugar toxic? Yeah, it's very toxic. The standard American diet is filled with sugar. And most of the time, we don't realize how much we're really consuming it. And sugar is actually linked to diabetes, insomnia, heart disease, high blood pressure, depression, allergies, obesity, ADD, ADHD, and hair loss. So what does sugar do to the body? So when you drink the sugar, it actually forces your liver to convert the fructose to dangerous fats. And drinking just 1 can of soda is all you need for your daily maximum requirement of sugar. It's kind of scary. So it inhibits blood flow, it increases aging, it contributes to dental issues, and it increases wrinkles and dry skin. That's definitely not something I would want. So it suppresses the immune system and causes an overproduction of digestive enzymes, which can put a lot of stress on your pancreas. Okay, so when I'm hearing about all these digestive issues, including pancreatic cancer, there's liver disease, kidney disease, people are intaking too much sugar. It just destroys our digestive system. Going back to those fibers that I was talking about, your processed breads, our body converts that to sugar. So it can make the digestive system very acidic, which takes the vitamins and minerals from your body, especially from calcium bones and teeth. So it depletes of potassium and magnesium, which are very essential for cardiac health. So kind of some scary facts. Now, what's pretty interesting is that I have a brain image of normal, and then there's one with cocaine, and then there's a brain image of somebody who is obese. Now, what's interesting is when they're comparing these brain images, the obese and the cocaine actually look very similar, okay? Because what happens is that there's no production of dopamine. Okay, so then once they intake in the sugar or the heroin, dopamine production comes up because you get that high, you get that adrenaline rush, and then it goes down. Okay, so then they want more. So it's pretty interesting how sugar can really tweak with your mind, and especially when you're looking at Coke and it has the aspartame. Now, aspartame, you can actually, your brain thinks that it's sugar times 10, so then your brain's just working on a constant high, and then you just want some more of that. So it's kind of scary facts on what it can do to the brain. So how much do Americans consume? Average American consumes 22 teaspoons a day of sugar. The average American child consumes 32 teaspoons a day. And listen to this, the recommendation, the men are only supposed to take 9 teaspoons a day, women 6 teaspoons a day. How much was the average adult taking in? 22. That's pretty gross. Now, in 1900, Americans consumed 9 pounds of sugar a year. Now, guess how much Americans consume right now? They consume about 150 pounds of sugar a year. 150. That is like a wheelbarrow full of sugar just packed in there. That's kind of scary, especially when you're looking at our children as well, too. So 61 pounds of Americans' yearly consumption comes from high fructose corn syrup. Another fact, Americans drink 53 gallons of soft drink a year. Consuming confined sugar depletes the body of vitamin D. So many foods contain hidden sugar. Refined sugar has no nutritional value whatsoever. Besides salt, Americans consume 10 times more sugar than any other food additives, which is pretty crazy. So now since we're thinking of sugar, and I'm sure you guys are like beating yourselves on the head like, oh my gosh, what? Whoa, scary. It's okay. It's your first step. Now let's look into activity. So I like to say this for activity that, you know, when you're looking at activity, it is actually 90% mindset, 10% mechanics. Some of you may have heard this in a business world, though, too, and it's so true. You know, it really is all mindset. We have to force or drive ourselves to create the activity, and the rest is frosting on the cake, okay? So what I like to tell my clients is I covered a lot of just the basics, and we're cramming this in such a short amount of time. A lot of the basics of food, because food plays a huge role in everything. I think it's 100% of everything, and the activity is the rest. It's the icing of the cake, okay? So you really have to fix your food in order to, you can't just go eat whatever you want and then go work out, okay? So food is everything, but activity is everything as well, too. So how much activities do you need to optimize your daily health? You know, I get this question a lot because people don't know how much to work out but everybody's different. You may be a very beginner, or you may be an elite athlete. So it just kind of depends on where you're at. But here's one thing I will say, is that 70% of Americans are obese, which makes it 1/3 of Americans and 1 in 20. Okay, that makes it very high. You know, our activity is lacking and our food is highly processed. Okay, our health and wellness is just kind of, our health is going downhill, the system. So when looking at activity, you know, I got this from the Center of Disease Control. They kind of listed of average of what type of activity, how much the average person should be doing. You know, adults need at least 2 hours and 30 minutes, which is about 150 minutes, of moderate intensity aerobic activity, which could be like a brisk walk. You can just go out and walk. And that's got to be every week. And muscle strengthening activities on 2 or more of the days a week that work major muscle groups like your legs, your hip, your back, your abs, your shoulders, and your arms. Okay, so it's just kind of a mixture of 2 hours and 30 minutes. Now, some of you may be kind of shocked. You know, for those of you who are beginners, 2 hours and 30 minutes may seem like a long time. Okay, what's your favorite show? You watch The Voice? That's an hour. I think you can do away with that for a minute. Or if you got DVR, record it. Okay? If you're watching a movie, that's about an average of 2 hours and 30 minutes. You can put in some sort of activity. Now, if you're just beginning and this kind of seems a little overwhelming, take 10 minutes at a time. That's completely fine. I've worked with individuals who are just starting. They didn't know where to start. They just went for 10-minute walks. And then the next week, they went for 20-minute walks. And then after a few weeks, they were able to go for 45 minutes. You know, so just work your way up. It's all about baby steps. So just take your time, one step at a time, and just keep going. So another thing about activity, you know, we can really make working out a lot of fun. I just left a video. I'll be honest, I don't like working out. I know, I'm a trainer. I don't like working out. But the thing is that I have to force myself to do it because I want to be healthy. I want to be in shape. I want to be the role model for you. I want to be a role model for my kids to show them that anything is possible. But working out can be fun, and I mix mine up a lot. You know, you can join boot camps. You can do dance classes like Zumba. Look into meetup.com. Join those meetups. And you can do kayaking or stand-up paddleboarding. You can walk and jog while the kids are riding their bikes, or go run on the beach with the kids. I mean, do I have to go on? You could just have fun with it. Just figure out some things and just make it fun. Even if it's 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there, that's fine. The time is now to change, not tomorrow, not next week. It's now. So if you're thinking about making some changes, start doing those changes right now. Just take the plunge and do it. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for joining me on this webinar. I know we started a little bit late. We went on for about 25 minutes, which is really good. So we've stayed right on time, and hopefully you took a lot of notes. And if you're interested in getting a hold of some of these slides, you can just email me at activateyourgenes@gmail.com. So it's activateyourgenes, like G as in good, E-N-E-S, @gmail.com. And so I can forward you some of those slides for you so that we can visually see them and kind of read about it as well too, because I feel that visuals work really well. And if you really have benefited from this free webinar, check out my website. My website is lindsaylifestyletrainer.com. lindsaylifestyletrainer.com. And subscribe to my blog. We are updating that weekly, and we're currently adding in a lot more posts. So be sure to sign up for updates on fitness and nutrition. And I do a lot of video blogging. I'm starting to do that as well. Or maybe you are ready for a big change and you're ready to get jump started on a program. Maybe you're thinking about getting started on something, but you're kind of unsure of where to go, like what's best for you. Maybe you're really, really busy and you just don't have a heck of a whole lot of time. So, you know, like I said, we're launching my website tonight. I'm so excited. So please check it out. It's lindsaylifestyletrainer.com. I'm still updating, and so because of my launch, I'd like to let some of you know that I am giving a 15% discount off my nutrition and online packages for the first 20 people, which is pretty cool. So it's going to fill up pretty quickly. But so just check out the packages, kind of figure out which one may work for you. Click the apply. It'll take you to an actual survey. You fill out the survey, and it'll kind of go over what the package is. And then I'll get in touch with you as soon as possible. Again, my website is lindsaylifestyletrainer.com, and I'm going to give 15% off all of my nutrition and online packages for the first 20 people. So definitely be sure to check that out. Again, thank you so much. I really appreciate you for coming on, hopping onto the webinar. Be sure to share this. Unfortunately, this does not record. I will be doing more in the future, so be sure to hop on and subscribe to my blog for some more updates. Have a good one.